What is up, Waffle Gang? I do hope you are well. My name is Mark, and today we're checking out some more r/am I the Butthole. If you'd like to skip the initial waffle, timestamps are in the description and along the timeline below. But if you are new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too. You can also join the channel too, just like Chelsea Giguri did. I might have absolutely got that name wrong. I do apologize if I did, but thank you so much for your support as well, and for everyone for taking the time out of your day to be here. It really does mean the world to me, and I just want you to know that you are absolutely awesome. And with that being said, let's crack on with today's stories. Much love, guys. Now, our first story comes from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole for not apologizing to a little girl when my dog scared her? I have a little dog who is not a fan of children. He ignores them when they ignore him, but he gets very nervous when they yell and run up or jump towards him. The other day I was walking him on the sidewalk next to my house, and a lady was sitting outside watching her little daughter, 4 to 5 female, play. The daughter saw my dog, who is very cute and fluffy, and started running towards him screaming excitedly. My dog got scared and started barking. The girl got scared and started crying hysterically. Her mother started yelling at me and demanding I apologize to her daughter because my dog scared her. I said that I have nothing to apologize for, as my dog was properly leashed and far away from the girl at all times. So I did my duty as a dog owner, and she should do her duty as a parent and teach her child not to scream and run towards strangers' dogs, as you never know how they would react. She disagreed, and eventually I just walked away. Reddit, am I the arsehole? Edit, the incident took place on a public sidewalk next to the entrance of my apartment building. The dog was at least 3 meters away from the girl at all times and on a short leash, so there was never any danger that anything would happen to her. And there's a mixed bag of comments on this one, which I really want to get into straight away. So we're going to start off with Consistent Leopard saying, not the arsehole, she needs to teach her kid the proper way to approach a dog. And Throwaway says, not the arsehole, not your problem, she can't teach her kid not to scream and run towards pets. She's lucky you leashed your dog. I've seen kids get bitten or chased after doing what this kid did because the owner wasn't responsible in leashing their pet. And Nick says, I'm guessing I'm going against the grain here, but everyone sucks here. I get that everyone says you don't owe anyone anything these days, but at the end of the day, it's a child. I personally find it a bit heartless that in a situation with a crying child, your first instinct isn't to say something like, oh sorry, you just scared my dog, they didn't mean to scare you. The mum didn't really have a right to get angry at you though, as you didn't do anything wrong. And Jim Habfan says, yes, you're the arsehole. Geez, why does everything always have to be a pissing contest? I was in the right, so I don't feel I need to take into consideration how a 4-year-old might be feeling, because it was her own fault. Children, especially young children, don't always know what they can and can't do around pets. A simple, I'm sorry he scared you, but he was scared too. That's why he barked at you. A little bit of basic civility, even though you were in the right. Let the downvotes commence. And Future Ambition says, not the arsehole. From past bad experience, I know kids need to be taught to stay away from dogs they don't know. And Scrimstein says, everyone sucks here. Yes, all the people talking about the parent and child needing to learn some dogs don't like kids and she needs to know to be careful have points. The truth, however, is you're talking about a small child who may have been younger than you guessed. It costs you nothing to say a quick, sorry about that, and possibly console a scared child. A little kindness never hurt anyone. And Frozen Boring says, not the arsehole, that poor girl will have an unfortunate incident with her dog in the near future, and her mum will raise hell to punish the dog and the dog owner since it won't be her precious darling's fault. But I guess you could dress up your dog as some kind of infectious giant rat to stop any kid from wanting to pet him. Some still might be tempted though. And Des Quartet says, it's a literal child, just say sorry to her and move on. The comments on this are insane. You're an adult, she was a 4-year-old girl who doesn't know what's going on. Why the hell would you stay so firm in your stance, not just tell the girl your dog was sorry and keep walking? My dog and I are very sorry. He just gets scared when people run at him like that. Would have taken 3 to 5 seconds. You help calm down a literal toddler and help her to know she shouldn't do that to strange dogs. And as I said, that was a mixed bag of comments there, and I'd be interested in your take on the matter. Let me know in the comments below. And our next story is from Sageroni. Am I the arsehole for telling my boyfriend I don't want to hear him teach me lessons in every conversation we have? My 27 female boyfriend Rick, 28 male, and I have been dating for a little over a year. We live together and I love him very much, so needless to say, I can see myself marrying this man. I love that we can have stimulating and intelligent conversations together over dinners, in car rides, and really anywhere and everywhere. We talk all the time about a wide range of topics. Rick is really smart, works in finance, loves history, understands the economy and how it works, etc. I love that about him, but Rick also has a tendency to try and educate me in the middle of a conversation and teach me a lesson about something new. For example, when the pandemic hit, he was always teaching me new topics / vocabulary surrounding the stock markets. A lot of times it's really cool and he's a great teacher. I love listening to him speak so passionately about the things that matter to him, but sometimes it becomes way too much. Sometimes I'm too tired to receive a whole history lesson about what happened in 1845, and that's why insert law here exists in government today. Sometimes I work long hours, I clean and then cook us dinner, and I want to have a nice conversation while we eat, which is awesome, but inevitably turns into him going on and on and on, teaching me something complex about the economy that goes way over my head. You guys get the drift. Today I admitted to him how I feel. I told him that I love he's so smart and the fact that we can always have intelligent conversation, but sometimes I just want to have a simple conversation without him turning it into a lesson where he's the teacher and I'm the student. I mentioned that sometimes it goes over my head. I'm really tired, or I lose track of what he's saying in a long explanation. And I don't mean to be rude and not listen, but sometimes I just don't want it to turn into a lecture / lesson. This really upset him, and I hurt his feelings badly. He says he feels like I'm one of the only people who listens to him talk anyway. I feel absolutely horrible, but I wanted to be honest about how I felt. At this point I feel like I'm definitely the arsehole, but I want to ask my Reddit community. Am I the arsehole? Now, I was thinking at the very start of this when I was going to go for one of those very rare no one's an arsehole here situations, but I started thinking, why does no one else really want to listen to him? Is it because people feel like they're in a lecture when listening to him and he's like constantly doing this to other people as well? And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I love to listen to, people who know a lot more than me about things. I love to be educated on all sorts of topics and I'm always willing to listen. But just like OP, I get to some points in the day, I get home, I sit down, I chill and want to have a beer, and I don't want intense conversation. Sometimes I just want to put the TV on to some rubbish program and just sit and relax and watch TV without having something intense going on in my mind, And I think it's a healthy thing to bring up in your relationship. If there's something that's bothering you, I think you have to bring it up, and he has to understand this too. Sure, you've said that you love listening to his conversation and you love that about him. You aren't being harsh here, you're being perfectly reasonable in my opinion anyway. And a lot of this post it sounds like pure love to me. It sounds a bit cheesy saying that, but it just sounds like pure love. And I would maybe even go as far as showing him this post and showing him your feelings and explaining that you really love this thing about him, but sometimes it's a bit too much when you've worked a long day. And that's all it is to it, really. You would listen to him any other time, but when you come home from work, you don't want that going on at you all the time. And I totally get that. I'm with you on that one. So not the arsehole in this situation. But Gleason says, no one's an arsehole here. I think anyone reasonable can see where you are coming from, and you handled the issue like an adult by communicating with him about it. I also wouldn't call him an arsehole yet, because it was obviously he deeply enjoyed you listening to him, and to find out you didn't always enjoy it probably hurt his feelings. I would just keep trying to communicate with him. Tell him you love how smart he is, how passionate he is, you love to learn from him, but no one wants to be in class at all hours of the day, especially after a long day's work. Maybe get a safe word to use for this situation. So if you come home, you can say, Aurora Borealis. I can't even pronounce that. Aurora Borealis. Aurora Borealis. Right away, and he knows you're too exhausted to think. And the real Agent Chicken says, from what you have said, you like listening to him talk to a certain extent, but if he talks too frequently and for too long, it can lose the initial interest and border on rambling. I do that a lot. Your feelings are entirely reasonable, and when any basic interaction or intimate moment turns into a lecture, it can be quite tiring. If you feel like the arsehole for telling him how you feel, don't. It's better than the alternative, where you bottle it up and eventually snap on him on an escalated and unwarranted level, causing damage to the relationship. I wonder if there is a reason you are one of the only people who listens to him talk. Not the arsehole. And Shoestring Stam says, not the arsehole. People in the comments are giving this dude way too much leeway. Let's break it down with the key items. And quotes, I'm one of the only people who listens to him talk. And then says, because everyone else is bored of him treating them like idiots who want to be lectured to. He has demonstrated so little social grace that he has eventually figured out that people are actively tuning him out. This has resulted in no self-reflection or consideration that maybe he is the issue. Instead, he just doubled down on his remaining victims. Then add the phrasing, listen to him talk, not have a conversation or engage. He doesn't want a conversation, he wants an audience. You are a rapt face, not a partner. I've never heard of rat face before. Follow that with the fact that you work and yet also do cooking and cleaning while he lectures you. Sounds like a real good catch. Does he tell you the history of the steam iron while you do his shirts? Ask Rick what he knows about the inequity between women's household labour and men's participation. Betting he's remarkably silent on those factoids. Finally finish up with the fact that you politely and kindly express your feelings and got a guilt trip response. You expressed something different than all-knowing Rick, and he didn't take it away to think about it, or agree to work on it. He just gave you a lecture about how you should like your lectures instead. You are not a child or an idiot. You don't want or need a teacher. You want an equal partner, and honestly, it's clear Rick doesn't regard you as that, or he would ask your opinion. He'd talk about things you have background in, he'd be open to learning, and above all, he would listen as well as talk. Firm, not the arsehole. It might be cute for a year, but imagine the rest of your life in this pattern. And now I turn this one to you guys. What do you guys think of this situation? Let me know in the comments below. And our next story comes from Unlucky Foundation 4. Am I the arsehole for telling my girlfriend I'm not going to financially support her if she quits her job to pursue an Etsy business? I've 27 male, been dating my girlfriend 25 female for almost a year now. I'm a remote software engineer at Amazon and she works at an Amazon warehouse. Before we started officially dating, we discussed our finances and decided that we should keep our finances separate and split everything 50-50. I told her before we started dating that keeping finances separate and equal was important to me, and she agreed to it. However, she's lately been mentioning how she wants to quit her job because it's making her miserable and start focusing on her art more. I told her that was a bad idea and that she should at the very least have a different job lined up before she quits her current one, and that she could start her Etsy business as a side hustle on weekends and weekday evenings and then pursue it full time if it's profitable. She's been passive aggressive about it to me lately. She thinks because I make enough money to comfortably support us both, she should be able to pursue what makes her happy. I think my suggestions to her problem were reasonable. I don't think she needs to risk her income and dive headfirst into this art thing till it proves to be somewhat profitable. She doesn't even want to apply to any other jobs because she only wants ones where she can do something artsy. Am I the arsehole for saying I'm not going to financially support her if she decides to go forward with such a risky move? And there's two edits to this post. I'm going to cover the first edit first and then the second edit after the comments because it sort of sums things up a bit. Edit, you really don't need to tell me your opinions about whether you think our 50-50 split is fair or not. We are both adults and she agreed to it. I'm not making her do anything. I don't love my job either, but being financially responsible is important to me. I understand some people think splitting equitably is more fair and I disagree with that, but that's okay. People can have different opinions and do what works best for themselves, but that's not what I'm really asking about in this post. For me, this is definitely a not the arsehole verdict. Simply, I think what he's suggesting is absolutely fine, you know. He says don't quit your job before you have something else lined up, or, you know, the Etsy business is profitable, and I think that's the smart thing to do. Because at the moment, she's just looking at him and saying, oh, we got more than enough money if we use your money and then I can pursue my dream, whilst he's in a job which may not be his dream, and he has to just suck it up, you know, and pay for someone else to achieve theirs. And I found myself in a very, well, not a similar situation to this, but with me going part-time at the end of this month, it's still terrifying to talk about it. It's a scary thing, and you have to judge up everything, whether you can make profit from it, and can you just cover yourself month to month. And this is hence the reason I've gone part-time, because it's just too scary to dive into something like this. It's way too risky. And I think OP is being very smart in this situation and saying, you know, you can do this at weekends, you can do this weekday evenings, and until it becomes profitable, and then he may support her more. But to jump into a new business and just try and go for it like that is too risky, especially when you have responsibilities and bills to pay. But let's take a look at some of the comments, then we'll cover that edit at the very end. So V2 Den says, not the arsehole, your suggestion to her is perfect. She's extremely immature and entitled. She can of course pursue what makes her happy, but at the end of the day, there are real bills to be paid, and if she can't do that while doing things that make her happy, she needs to be an adult and keep a job that pays the bills. Absolutely keep your finance separately and don't give in to her request. Also, you have only been dating for almost a year. Imagine her entitlement if you are actually married. Good God. And S Extreme says, not the arsehole, she's a new girlfriend, not a wife, sugar baby. You agreed terms before you started dating, now she figures she's riding the gravy train. I'd say this is a red flag and to be careful about how she responds next. And Seeker says, not the arsehole, this is a girlfriend of only 1 year, not a wife or even fiance. There is zero obligation to financially support her, especially when she seems to have no idea how to run her own business and hasn't even tried her hand at it yet. She seems to want to be a sugar baby and is already getting passive aggressively upset at OP's refusal to fund her artsy lifestyle plans. Don't do it, OP, it will just make the breakup extra ugly and guilt ridden. And Late Cheesecake says, not the arsehole, less than a year and she wants you to financially support her. Get out now. And Hong Kong Mother says, not the arsehole, but some advice that relationships aren't like business contracts. Guys, especially engineers, can be cluelessly black and white about these things. You are not legally or morally obliged to help her, but you also have to think outside the box whether you support and encourage her on something she loves. Saying that she should job hunt is a pragmatic idea in theory, but it doesn't take into consideration her as a person. If this kind of job makes her miserable, then telling her to get another job doesn't really make sense. Depends how much you value this relationship and whether you're willing to support her in the long term, how much financial support she will need. Will insisting on her paying exactly 50-50 for everything be the hill you want to die on? Now, let's take a look at this final edit to the post, which says, edit, I'm breaking up with her. Apparently I'm controlling and a bad boyfriend for expecting a grown adult woman to pull her weight in a relationship. My exes were engineers too, and 50-50 worked great for us, and we had the same morals and drive. My current girlfriend is different from what I'm used to, but her creative, spontaneous, carefree side is not cute to me anymore. She's just irresponsible, and I'm tired of being the mature one. I'm done with this. I don't feel like she's an equal partner to me. I'm all for being entrepreneurial. A lot of my colleagues have ventured out on their own and become successful. My girlfriend has no plans and just wants to wing it and let her passion run free. I'm done with her. She is better off without me. Thanks, Reddit. And what a twist in the tale at the end there. But what do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below. And our next story is from Throwaway Whatever. Am I the arsehole for walking out of my mum's house when they arranged a family get together for my late son's birthday? My life has felt like it's been falling apart for a while now. I lost my son a year ago at the age of 9 and I've been a mess ever since. I already lost my wife when she gave birth and he was all I had left of her. It was only 5 months ago that I started leaving the house again, engaging with my family, going to therapy. I also recently joined a support group for grieving parents. My mental health is far from perfect, but it's improving little by little. I'm able to talk about my son without falling apart, but a week ago, I knew his birthday was coming up. The first one since I lost my boy. My sister called me and said it would be nice if we did something special for him to honour his memory. I said she was free to do something if she'd like, but I don't have the heart in me to celebrate that day. It was just going to be too much and I decided rather not do anything. I preferred not to see anyone and be at home where I can cry my heart out in private. My sister went ahead and organised something because on that day I received a call from my mum asking to come help move some boxes. She and my dad are cleaning out their attic, so I thought maybe she wanted to distract me that day by having me do some physical work. Instead, I found my sister with her family, my parents, 5 other aunts and uncles, and several cousins all there. Photos of my son around the living room with candles and his favourite dishes prepared. Just the smell of his favourite foods was too overwhelming for me, and all I remember was walking right out with my mum and sister calling after me. They stopped me at my car. My sister kept urging me to go inside and be with everyone because we're all grieving. I know I shouldn't have, but I snapped at both of them for setting me up for something I said no to already. My sister had hoped I'd change my mind when I got there and saw the whole family. Both tried to get me to go back in the house, but I drove off. When I got home, I had several missed calls from my family. They were all upset I didn't stick around, especially my sister, who wanted this to be something special to honour my son's memory. My mum said she understood I am still grieving, but that does not excuse me from walking off the way that I did and snapping at my sister. The way I reacted made the whole thing uncomfortable, and the energy wasn't good after that. So my sister isn't happy that the birthday get together for my son didn't go as planned, and my mum thinks I should have handled it better. So yes, at the moment I am having a hard time seeing if what I did was truly wrong. I know my family loves me, and sometimes they want to help, but I had made it clear already that I wanted no involvement. My emotions get the best of me sometimes, so I'd like to know if this is the case. Was I an arsehole for my reaction? You probably already know what I'm going to say before we get started here, and it's just like everyone grieves in different ways, and they force you to grieve in their way. So you're absolutely not the arsehole in this situation. They didn't respect what you said, and I can't believe they went ahead and done that. Who does that? As I always say, I've got my head in my hands at the minute. As I always say, I try to get into people's shoes and what they were thinking at the time, and I'm trying to put myself in sister's shoes, mum's shoes, and think, what were they thinking at the time to think that they can trick him to coming round and that would be a good idea? What goes through their heads that would be a good idea? It's a bloody stupid one. And I'm very, very sorry for your loss, OP, and I hope you continue improving little by little, as you said. Good luck to you. Wish you all the best. Calafia says, I'm so sorry. No, you're not the arsehole. You are grieving. You all are. Take care of yourself. A cat in an oak tree says, not the arsehole. They try to force you to confront grief in a very unhealthy way. Work with a grief counsellor and realise that you will process your grief in your own time. A Brit abroad says, not the arsehole. You told your sister no. She did not listen. You are not in the wrong here. Terep T1 says, I'm so sorry for your loss. You're not the arsehole, but I think your sister is. She made the day about what she wanted and wanted you to grieve the way she wanted. She made the day all about her. The only person whose opinion matters over the loss of a child is the parents. No one else gets a vote on how you grieve. No one gets to ambush a grieving parent like this. I am beyond furious at your sister and mother, OP. Big internet hugs if you want them. And Cleason says, I'm gonna go, no one's an arsehole here, but I hate people like your sister. Their hearts are in the right place, but they have a hard time being told no, because they think they know what's best for other people. I fault you 0% for how you acted and what you said. Now I turn this one to you guys. What do you guys think of this situation and how would you deal with it? Let me know in the comments below. Now once again guys, thank you for being here today. Thank you for taking 20 minutes or so, actually it's a bit longer than 20 minutes today, out of your day and being involved with the channel, joining me on Twitter and just getting involved with everything. Discord, Twitter, YouTube, it means the world to me, and I just want you to know that. You know, I see the same names, same faces come on this channel in the comments every time I post a video and support this channel, and I cannot tell you how much it means to me, and it really, really does. I know that's a very easy thing to say, and I hope it doesn't come across like ingenuine or anything like that, because I really do mean it, and you keep me going on the daily. So thank you so much. Keep being awesome, and I will see you, hopefully if you enjoyed the content of course, in the next one. Much love guys. Goodbye now.
I've been thinking about your smile. I've been thinking that I can't let you go.